What if everything we thought we knew about EV batteries was already outdated? For years, the electric vehicle industry has repeated the same limitations. Cold weather kills, range charging takes too long, batteries degrade too fast, solid state is always 5 years away, and then in the dead of winter, at 22 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 degrees Celsius, an electric vehicle quietly shattered expectations. 933 miles, one charge, extreme cold, no thermal collapse, no degradation spike. This wasn't a lab simulation. This wasn't a marketing animation. This was a real-world endurance run using the world's first production-grade solid-state EV battery. And what makes this even more shocking, it didn't just outperform lithium-ion batteries. It obliterated Donut Labs' famous endurance same benchmarks many companies claimed were unbeatable. So today we're going to break down what actually happened in this test, why cold weather usually destroys EV batteries, how solid-state chemistry changed everything, why Donut Labs' claims are now under serious pressure, and what this means for Tesla, Toyota, China, and the entire EV future. This isn't hype. This is a turning point. Why cold weather is the EV killer too. Understand why 933 miles at 22 degrees Fahrenheit is insane. You need to understand what cold does to batteries. The cold problem: traditional lithium-ion batteries rely on liquid electrolytes in cold conditions. Ion movement slows, internal resistance skyrockets, voltage drops, energy becomes trapped, and unusably at 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Most EVs lose 30 to 50% range. Fast charging becomes dangerous. Battery management systems throttle performance aggressively. This is why winter EV horror stories exist. Even premium EVs struggle. Real numbers at 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Tesla Model S, approximately 40% range loss. Hyundai Ioniq 5, charging speed cut by over 60%. Ford Lightning, severe power limitation warnings. Now remember this. All of those vehicles use liquid electrolyte, lithium-ion cells. That chemistry simply wasn't designed for Arctic conditions. Donut Labs claim the unbreakable benchmark before this test. Donut Lab had become a viral benchmark in the EV world. Their claims were bold: ultra-high energy density, extreme discharge stability, multi-thousand cycle durability, claimed cold resistance improvements. Their data dominated YouTube, investor decks, and EV forums. But there was a catch. The fine print nobody read. Donut Labs' performance numbers were achieved under controlled thermal envelopes, tested mostly above 0 degrees Celsius, dependent on advanced active heating, still fundamentally liquid electrolyte based. In other words, they optimized lithium-ion to its absolute limit. But lithium-ion still has a ceiling, and solid-state doesn't play by the same rules. What solid-state actually means: no marketing, let's kill the buzzwords. Solid-state does not mean no lithium magic batteries, infinite range. What it actually means is simple and revolutionary. The core difference: traditional battery, liquid electrolyte, porous separator, risk of dendrites, thermal instability. Solid electrolyte, no flammable liquid, extremely stable ion pathways, much higher operating temperature range. This changes everything, especially in cold environments. Why cold doesn't kill solid-state? Need this new chemistry. Ions move through a solid lattice, no freezing electrolytes, minimal viscosity, change resistance, stays stable at 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Ion mobility remains consistent, voltage drop is minimal, no aggressive thermal throttling. This is why the test wasn't just impressive, it was chemically inevitable. The battery that changed the game. So what battery was actually used? While the company behind it avoided flashy branding, here's what we know. Confirmed specs from independent engineers: solid ceramic electrolyte, lithium metal anode, energy density 420 watt-hours per kilogram, operating range 40 degrees Fahrenheit 2 plus 140 degrees Fahrenheit, cycle stability above 95% after 1000 cycles. Compare that to high-end lithium-ion, 250 to 300 watt-hours per kilogram, massive cold degradation, fire risk under stress. This wasn't a prototype taped together, this was a pre-production automotive pack. The 933-mile test. Step by step, let's talk about the test itself, because this is where skepticism dies. Test conditions: ambient temperature, 22 degrees Fahrenheit, no climate-controlled garage, continuous driving cycles, mixed highway and urban simulation, real vehicle weight, no stripped interiors, no tricks, no mid-route warming, no battery swapping, no regenerative overcrediting, no external heaters, just driving. The result: total distance, 933 miles, remaining capacity approximately 7%, no thermal shutdown, no performance collapse, no warning states in cold weather where most EVs are begging for mercy. This battery just kept going. Why Donut Lab couldn't compete? This is where things get uncomfortable. Donut Lab didn't fail, they just hit the physics wall. Lithium-ion's hard, lithium-ion's hard. Lithium-ion, the most optimized lithium-ion cell, suffers electrolyte viscosity increase, requires active heating, loses usable capacity in cold phases. Dendrite risk at low temperatures. Donut Lab pushed lithium-ion to perfection. But solid state stepped around the problem entirely. Different game, different rules. It's like comparing a turbocharged gasoline engine versus a jet turbine. Both are impressive. Only one rewrites the future. Why this scares the entire EV industry? This isn't just about range, this is about control. What's solid state? Brakes, charging anxiety, winter range fear, fire risk narratives, battery replacement, economics, who's at risk, battery startups built on lithium-ion optimization, companies delaying solid-state adoption, automakers betting on software fixes instead of chemistry, who wins, early solid-state adapters, cold reach in EV markets, long-haul EV transport, military and emergency fleets, Tesla, Toyota in China. The silent race, nobody is talking publicly, but everyone is panicking privately. Toyota invested over a decade in solid-state, promised mid-decade rollout, now under pressure to accelerate. Tesla still lithium-ion focused, watching solid-state closely, likely waiting for cost collapse. China, massive solid-state pilot lines, government-backed scaling, less worried about short-term losses. This test didn't surprise them, it forced their timelines forward. The economics, nobody wants to admit solid-state is expensive right now, but here's the thing. Cost curves always collapse. Lithium-ion was once impossible to scale. EV motors were once too expensive. Solar was once unaffordable. Removes cooling, complexity, fire suppression systems, heavy thermal management, over-engineering, safety margins. When scaled, it may end up cheaper. What this means for why youth is isn't just tech news, this affects real life. In cold regions, EVs become fully viable year-round. No winter charging anxiety. Number 40% range loss for consumers, longer battery lifespan, higher resale value, fewer recalls for infrastructure, less strain on fast charging, more predictable energy demand. The moment lithium-ion became obsolete, lithium-ion won the first ever revolution. No question. But every technology has a sunset in this test. 933 miles at 22 degrees Fahrenheit wasn't just a record. It was a message. Solid-state batteries are no longer the future. They're here, and the companies that ignore this moment will be remembered the same way we remember flip phones, DVDs, gas-only cars. The EV war just entered its next phase, and chemistry, not software, is now in control.